thou that sleepest, arise from the dead.
Read the Bible, you'll find out that God's not too happy with what's going on around us.
Redeem the time, because the days are evil.
The Bible has not changed.
Boldly proclaim the restoration and preservation of Christian values in America.
Satan has brainwashed a whole nation.
As goes the church, so goes the nation.
Nobody's convicted of anything anymore.
And now, here's Last Call with your host, B.J. Edwards.
Good morning, brothers and sisters in Christ and fellow Earth travelers. Along with Mr. Anderson and Honor Mama Jeannie, you're listening to your Last Call, 2 hours of Christian talk radio with a sting. Brought to you by the Natural Family Foundation. As goes the family, so goes the nation. Our call-in number, if you wish to participate, is 614-423-4220. Our show can be accessed on the mmunited.org website if you've happened upon us by chance. I'm your host, B.J. Edwards, and this is my world. You better believe it. I'm the one that's supposed to be busy this morning with this new system we're working on, and I'm hearing feedback here. I like that announcer's voice. We need to hire him. He's pretty good. Hey, just when... Danger, danger, warning, warning. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Oh, my goodness.
The sharks come back.
Oh, this is, and we warned you. I warned you. As if the boogeyman and COVID wasn't bad enough. Here comes the racial divide and mob rule. George Soros is very good at what he does.
What a bunch of noise.
Mm-hmm. I'm hearing music.
Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from.
What's next? The family? The destruction of the family? Or was that the target in the first place? Socialism. That's where we're headed. Socialism is a philosophy of failure, the creed of ignorance. You can't fix stupid. I'm reading a quote here. That wasn't in there. The can't fix stupid thingy. And the gospel of envy. Its inherent virtue is the equal sharing of misery. A fellow by the name of Winston Churchill said that. And I've got a friend that tells me you can't fix stupid, and boy, we got a whole bunch of that going on around here. That's the virus. It's been spread by our government-run schools. Parents haven't been teaching it because they haven't been teaching, period. This insanity and overreaction of fear. I just find it so hard to believe. You remember our discussion last week about racism? You remember it? Or was it a week before? I think it was a week before.
Oh, the weeks run together.
Yeah. Now, what do you see happening all over America? Riots, roving crowds, burning and looting, using the racism myth. I'm a white boy, in case you haven't noticed. A baby boomer. I don't practice it. I don't teach it. And I don't know anybody else that practices it and teaches it. It's like the coronavirus. I don't know anybody that's got that. And I don't know anybody that does the racism. I hear it being preached, but I don't see it being practiced. And you need to do your homework. Actually, you don't have to do your homework because our leaders, excuse me, that's an oxymoron. Those that are in office, leadership positions, aren't being leaders. Our government leaders are looking the other way while the cities are being burned down. Protests, as the news media calls them, have turned violent, they say. Folks, these are not protests. These are riots. These are mobs.
Terrorism.
Terrorists, too. They are You know, they haven't used that term yet, but that could easily be used, terrorist, in this. Shattering windows, burning down buildings, but they take all the goods out of them first. Destroying public property.
Stealing. Theft. Talk about amoral society.
Threatening. They threaten police. They threaten police. You ever try to threaten police, Mr. White Guy, Mr. Anderson? You ever try to threaten one?
I got arrested.
You've been arrested by one. I remember that. And it was because you were trying to burn down a church, right? No, it wasn't because you're trying to burn down a church. It's because you're trying to talk to somebody in the church. And the officer arrested you because you wouldn't give him your name. I'm laughing and crying at the same time, folks. This is just insane. And again, where's the leadership in all this? What an opportunity. Black, white, whatever, I don't care. Where's the leadership? It is absolutely, positively nowhere to be found. Not in our halls of Congress, in our state capitals.
They're hiding under their bed.
Our national capital, for that matter. But most importantly, leadership cannot be found in our homes. Where's the father of these protesters, eh? I don't remember the first interview with a father of a protester. Maybe they've done it by now. What do they think about the disrespectful way their sons and daughters are reacting to a bad situation? By the way, racism is all about disrespect, is it not? Which is quite interesting in that it doesn't make sense to pay honor to a man who was likely killed without cause by burning down a stranger's building or stealing from a stranger. That honors the gentleman that was killed. How? As the result of the riots, I'm going to take you back to where we are in Ohio. And after listening to the groveling and apologetics from our liberal and, yes, Republican governor here in our red state of Ohio, I'm thoroughly expecting an announcement next week in which there will be a formal presentation of the key to the city of Columbus, Ohio, the state capital, to Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. And they'll probably give them the key to the Treasury vault as well. And then in turn, Jesse and Al will likely probably turn over that local money to the local chapter of the NAACP after they've, of course, taken their 20% agent fee. I also believe that you're a certain minority group. You can expect not only the free Obama phone, but free health, free food, free housing, etc., etc., etc. Hang in there with us, Mason. We'll be right with you. In short, the Republican governor of the supposed red state of Ohio, all he's done is raise the expectancy level of a well-defined section of the Ohio population. And if those vague and undefined expectations, or should I say reparations, are not met in the eyes of the group, then we can expect more righteous responses to those perceived shortcomings. Our governor is adding fuel to the fire.
Yes,
You're
he
robbing,
is.
you're looting, you're burning. What can we do to make you happy? Really? What more can we do? What do you need to hear from us? Please, I beg of you. A lot of my associates call our governor Mini Mike DeWine, because he appears to be short. I think what the appearance is that he's on his knees, and that's why he appears to be so short, begging for forgiveness for us white folk, for our sins. New laws will be enacted. I heard a press conference where he was asked the question, well, what kind of groups are you going to hire that can go out door to door and find out who's discriminating, or look in the public domain and find out who's discriminating? If you're looking for it, folks, you're going to find it. More Big Brother in our lives, more watch groups, door-to-door services. And aren't all these problems being caused by that very government in the first place? I'm from the government, and I'm here to help, right?
I'm running away.
National standards for police forces? Of course. All the worst things will keep happening. I think we lost Mason. Mason, try to get back in there if you can. Yep. Racism will end when we stop speaking it into existence, folks. And no sooner. I call it paranoia. But wait a minute. Wasn't there a fellow that was killed in Minnesota? Huh? See, you're wrong there, BJ. No. That's not the first citizen that a policeman has killed in America. And they all aren't one color. And they all aren't justified.
There's more to that story than being told.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't make any difference. It's what you're going to hear, what they'll allow you to hear.
Well, Black Lives Matter got what they wanted.
Yep.
And George Soros.
Yep. I'm going to see if I can get... I'm going to play a quick... Do you want me to play the break? See if I can get Mason on the phone for us.
Well, he was there.
That doesn't look good there. All right. Let's try that.
Play the break.
Yeah. And let's try this. Resends.
Keeping you informed. This is Last Call with BJ Edwards.
I don't know if I have Mason on the cell or not. Okay, we need to get Mason. It's not there yet. It's not there yet. Can we bring Mason up on the cell? On my phone? Do you have this speaker on for the conference?
Yes.
You have it on?
Yes.
Mason, can you hear us? I can barely hear him. Mason, let's try that again. Can you hear us better? There you are. I think. We got you, Mason?
Hello.
Hey, there we go. I think I got you.
Yep. I don't know what happened to the video. It was loud and clear, but I couldn't hear you guys.
Yeah, I know. We're still working on that.
Let's turn my car on so I get the air on here.
Okay.
I'm trying to turn the radio down, the music down, but I need to get
Alrighty.
Is the sound of the engine too loud?
Yeah, we can. No, we can hear you. We can hear you fine.
All right.
We can hear you fine. And we've had Mason on the show before, and I asked Mason on today because of what is. I'm going to try to nip this in the bud, and I'm really disappointed, Mason, that you haven't appeared on Fox News or any of the major newscasts, because I think you're going to have the right message for what is going on here. I made the statement, I don't know whether you caught it or not, that racism will end when we stop speaking it into existence, and it won't end any sooner. And that's basically what we're doing right now, in my mind, Mason. I'm seeing we're just feeding this fire again.
Well, yeah, but when has racism never existed?
Okay, the idea of racism. Okay, the idea of racism. I'll get that. Yeah.
No, when has it never existed? See, we're trying to assume that these clowns are serious. We're trying to assume that the reason they're rioting is because they think that white cops are racist. We're trying to believe that these people are rioting and burning down things and attacking people because they believe there's strong racism in America. And it's not true. They don't believe it. They're using it for an excuse to tear down America. They really do not want democracy. They do not want capitalism. They do not want prosperity. And they have a mirage that they put up before us to show to us how bad things are for them. And they're lying to themselves and to us. These people are not rioting because of injustice. And we have to face that fact first. And you're not going to be convinced by our eloquent point of views and our eloquent statements about how bad, how irrational it is. No one burns down their whole own neighborhood for this reason. It doesn't happen.
So what are they trying to accomplish, Mason? What are they doing?
Listen, if you're a grown man, you have masculine instincts. You have masculine priorities. If you, with your masculine ego, if you believe that another man has attacked you, if you believe that another man controls your income, your money, your women, your family, if you believe that another man controls your whole livelihood, you would feel justified in robbing them or selling dope to your own kids because the white man got everything. You would feel justified. You have to disrespect your woman because you can't take care of her. You have to then put her down and call her names and pimp her because you don't think you can control her. If you believe that the white man has all the power, you feel powerless, and you will then take actions like a child. I'm a grown man. I'm a black man, but there is no man on planet Earth superior to me. There is no man greater than me. I can achieve anything. I can be married 35 years before God took my wife. I can raise my kids. I believe that. And by the way, audience, most black men believe that. You're getting a false impression of us from the media. 75% of black people live outside of poverty, do not live in the ghetto, but all you see is the ghetto. You see the ghetto in the music, in the news, in the commentaries, in the sports. You see the ghetto, but most black people are not like that. Look around you today as you go about your business. You work with black people. You go to the ball games with black people. You go to the restaurants with black people. You're on a bus with black people. You do not see what you see on TV when you see me in the streets. Most of us are like you, hardworking, family men, take care of the community, love our God, and love our police. Most of us are just like America, except you, white folks, are allowing CNN to tell you about me.
So what we see being broadcast is actually counter to what reality is, but because
Absolutely.
that's all we show, that becomes the reality.
Right. You see, if you got to bus in protesters, if you got to rent rental cars and have hotel stays for protesters, it's not a real protest. In Ferguson, I live near Ferguson. In Ferguson, every hotel was full of bussed-in protesters. 94% of the people arrested was from outside of Ferguson. It's a made-up riot. And you see the same people in Baltimore. You see the same people in Minnesota. You see the same people. They catch a bus. They get paid. They have apps on their phones. They have apps. And when you get arrested, you push the app, and your attorney will beat you to the police department. It's a game, folks. They're doing it on purpose. They are manipulating us. That's why TV calls their product programming.
That's a fact.
Well
Yeah.
said, brother. Well said.
We're being programmed.
And it's working quite well. It's working quite
Yes,
well.
Well, it does. You're right.
Right.
White folks, you white people are guilty over 200 years ago activity. White people are apologetic over what happened 200 years ago. So on my website, legalplantation.org, I have issued a certificate of forgiveness for all you white people that are guilty over the slave trade. You have to promise to go home and free all your slaves you may have right now. But we're going to forgive you because that guilt is causing you and I to be unable to build America again. Let's stop the garbage. You don't owe me anything. I don't expect anything. Let's compete. And what you're better than, I lose. And when I'm better than, you will lose. And that's what we build America in the image of our Constitution and our God. Stop this mess.
Self-reliance. Yeah. And this just flies in the face of self-reliance.
Yeah.
What bothers me a lot is that, and I mentioned our Ohio governor, and basically he's on his knees asking what it is we can do to make you feel better. And
you can give me all your money, fool. I'll feel better. You're that stupid. Give me all your money, all your cars, all your power, and I may like you better. What kind of crap is that?
And I agree with that. Yeah, that's what we
feel better.
That's what we that's what we practice. Here's something that I see, and that is committed versus compromise. And I see one group of people that are committed, and I see another group of people that are compromising. And I know who's going to win that battle. And those that are committed, those that are committed are the ones that are burning down the buildings, the ones that are raising all the hell. So where does, I mean, how much more do we have to appear to give? Go ahead, sir.
Count the numbers. Count the numbers. You got 1,000 rioters in a city of 2 million. Count the numbers. And most of those rioters are from out of town, and most of them are young kids that just want a TV and a pair of tennis shoes. There is no widespread hatred of white people by black people. And the press keep putting them in our face. Folks, you got the strongest military in the world, the U.S. military, made up 25% of black men, which makes up 7% of the black community. So we are triple ourselves in the military because we love this country. This is not the image. This is not the truth about black people. We love them. When I was a Berkeley radical revolutionary, when I was a Black Panther, when I was out there protesting my Black Power salute, speaking Swahili, wearing dashiki, back in the 70s, I still loved America. That's why I was fighting. I was protesting in Oakland, California because I could not get a job. I could not go into business. There were legal restrictions on me based on the color of my skin to move where I wanted to move. I was fighting not to make white folks like me. I was fighting, not begging for equal opportunity. I had no hope for equal opportunity because somebody had to measure equal. I just want to compete. Just don't shoot me, or I'll shoot back. But I'm going to compete. I was fighting for the right to compete in the greatest country on the planet. And when I won the right to compete, I stopped protesting. I left the Black Panthers and I went to business for myself to earn money for myself. And I'm doing it today because I am an American and I'm a capitalist.
And again, Mason, I want you on the show because you're not. I want to get people to get this message out after this show today. Would you please get this message out to your friends? Because you're not going to hear this on Fox News. It's either going to be the white host, or he's only going to have a black compromiser with him that's going to be responding. And Mason used to appear on Fox News and other major national networks, but when they found out he was uncompromising, which is what we need, they got rid of him because he was causing too many waves, too much problems. They're not. They should. Your phone should be ringing off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to keep you busy today because I know that Tucker Carlson is probably trying to call you as we speak right now to have you on his show. Huh? Isn't that so?
He did once, and only once. I think that I did not give him the answer. Folks, to believe the narrative, for me to believe the narrative that cops are my enemy and want to kill me. If I believe that white people hate me and their hatred can keep me down, that's a difference. I don't really care if you hate me. If I have to believe that your hatred can keep me from getting a job, I have to then also believe I am inferior to white people. That is saying I'm inferior. And the white folks come out with these answers and solutions. What can we do to help the black people? You are saying subconsciously that you are superior and you must help the lowly poor Negro to grow up. You're saying that you have to come back and help us learn how to eat and learn how to work and learn how to take care of our homes. It's a condescending point of view, and black folks who agree with that are self-hating, low self-esteem, black people who believe that white people by the color of your skin is superior to me by the color of my skin. That's foolish and also very immature thinking.
I think it's a great point, and I meant to mention that this morning, is that by saying, I can't do this without your help, you're saying, I can't do this without your help, which means
I can't do it.
I can't do it.
And every official, I call them the tribal chiefs, they appear on TV and demand things. They get their money. What they're saying is that, and I said this the last time I was on Fox and Friends, they tried to ambush me with the head of the Black Lives Matter young lady, and I said to her, you're saying that every problem facing black people requires white people to do something. You're saying that we are the pets of white America, and you're demanding that they take better care of their pets. You're saying that you as a black person are not capable of doing anything for yourself and your family unless a white person approves it and provides it. You have a self-esteem image. You have a low self-esteem, and you hate your own race. You're here right now protesting about Black Lives Matter. You should be projecting that Black Lives Matter, because every city that you ever ride in, every city there's a problem, every city that's a ghetto, every ghetto in America is controlled by black people. You control the votes, you elect the mayor, you elect the police chief, you elect the city council, you elect the school board. You are in misery by the people that you elect. You're trying to elect the best slave master. You're trying to elect the best master of your life. You're saying that you are an abused people and you're electing the best abuser because you can never take care of yourself. She was silent the rest of the program.
Look, I know you all were tired of hearing about this. That's all you've heard on the news for the past 3 or 4 days. That's all you've heard. And I know you're tired of it. Yep. But you need to understand the truth. You're going to either that or you're going to stick your head in the sand and be subject to whatever's going to happen. And okay, I mean, if that's what you choose to do, then don't complain to me. I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to show you that there are people out there that do not agree with the programming that is going on, with the theories that are being presentation, and that racism does not exist, and it's okay to say it doesn't exist.
Yep. And who cares if it does? My goodness. I live in a county of only 1.7% black. It is a rural county. It's made up of hillbillies. Do you think I care?
Hey, watch that.
Doesn't like me. Do you think I care that the white guy up the street from me does not want me in his neighborhood? I have never asked permission for him to move into my home. And folks, it's irrelevant. We got to stop this. So I'm just asking, I'm asking white folks, take a deep breath. Turn off the black box. The black box is telling you I hate you and telling me that you hate me. And let's stop this. We are Americans. And what you have to do, folks, when I wrote my first book in 1996, It's Okay to Legal Plantation, I didn't mean it's okay for you white folks to join the plantation. Making yourselves a slave, making yourself subject to these cruel laws about affirmative action and all this stuff, making yourself put the burden of your children on the debt that your great-great-grandfather has will only make you part of the plantation, will not make me free of the plantation. It'll make you part of it. So stop allowing your government to put restrictions on you and your ability to compete based on your color. That makes you part of the slave system. I want freedom from slavery, not company in slavery.
I wonder what we're going to hear from the churches this weekend. It
Well,
scares.
the churches are they're made of too many unsaved pastors. Come on, let's stop playing this game. You got these clowns in the church right now, in the pulpit right now, run it like it's a business, collecting their money, serving the government. My God, they're serving the government. The most hostile organization in Scripture to Christians and Jews is the government. Every problem facing Christians in the Bible came from government. Jesus Christ was born in Bethlehem because his family had to go down there to pay their taxes. Come on, folks. In the pulpit tomorrow, you're going to see these pastors stand up and serve their master, the government. And they're going to serve God. They're afraid of the government and not afraid of God. They're unsaved, unmotivated, and unclean. And I'll suggest that you find a really good pastor and go to him and leave these calls alone.
What about the family institution?
That's your spot. You're the dad. Act like it. You're the head of your family. Why would you send your kids to a gang prep abusive school system? Why would you allow the government to tax you out of your home and destroy your business? That is your responsibility, man. That is yours. Your family looks to you to control the environment they're in. And you're giving that authority up to the government, and it will always, always abuse you.
But, Mason, I have to pay my taxes. Otherwise...
No, you have to elect... No, you don't have to pay your taxes. You got to elect the people who tax you. That's what you should be doing. What would happen, brother, if the churches ran their deacon board for the city council? What would happen if the churches ran their trustee board for the school board? What would happen if the mayor had to give allegiance to the pastor instead of the pastor doing the same thing? We control this doggone government. If Christians voted as Christians and not be divided by union and non-union, rich and poor, white and black, if we were divided by the race of Christ and the non-race of Christ, we will control our government. So yes, sir, you got to pay your taxes, but you're self-governing. If you got tyrants over you, it is your fault.
What scares me to think what would happen if today's church was engaged in government, if those aforementioned leaders you're talking about of today's church were in charge. I don't think we'd see any difference, Mason.
Oh no, you would see, you got them in charge now. They got the NWCP, political churches. If the people in the church, your pastor is not your leader. Your pastor is not in charge of the Word of God. The Word of God is your personal responsibility. If the people in those pews opened their Bibles and read and took every problem, political, social, economical, cultural, took every problem to the foot of the cross individually and got up individually and voted individually on those issues, we would control this country. The biggest fear of government is a unified Christian mind, not a unified Christian church, but a unified Christian mind. My pastor cannot tell me who to vote for. My pastor cannot tell me what issues are important to me. I will do that. And whether he agrees or disagrees is totally irrelevant to me.
We're speaking with Mason Weaver. And Mason has been in the battle for many, many years, decades. Been on both sides of it. He's got a very interesting perspective when it comes to the black-white issue. All right, Mason, you're the governor of Minnesota. You're the president of the United States. You're the governor of the state of Ohio. You're the mayor of Minneapolis. What do you do, sir? How do we get out of this mess?
Open up the nation, throw away your mask, start going back to work. Let me handle China. Let me handle the World Health Organization. And we're going to free up our nation by going after the criminals. We're going to reward prosperity. We're going to reward those in business. And we're going to make America great because America has always been great. But
you're not getting leadership to follow you. You're out there all alone. And you're making great suggestions. No. Go ahead.
No, but it doesn't take an army. It doesn't take an army. It takes one old man who supported Trump when Trump decided to run for office. Who went to him and said, okay, Trump, we're behind you. Trump stood up by himself, was standing boldly, and guess what boldness did? It created more boldness. When Trump stood up, the nation stood with him. And we got to just stand up in your community, stand up in your family, stand up someplace first. And you'll find a whole lot of folks around you that think like you think, and they'll support you because they see you as a leader.
I love it. I love it. I
We
appreciate you.
win when we show up. We win when we show up.
If we show up, we win. Yes, I agree. I agree. And we have to be committed. That's something that we just aren't. We're so back on our heels again because of the programming that we've gotten, not just from the news media and not just from the entertainment, but from politicians, from our government-run schools.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
We send our kids off to. Go ahead.
You send your kids to an abuser and want to know why they grew up abused.
Yeah.
You send your kids to people who tell them that their parents are crazy and they're wrong. You know, I mean, that is amazing to me. Why would you send your child? Why would you let a child molester babysit your children just because they have good bedtime stories? That's what we're doing. We know that they're abusing our children. We know it. But because it's convenient or they tax us too much, they spend too much money on us, whatever it is, we allow ourselves to put our children, and then we figure by the time they graduate college, 20 years of being indoctrinated, we expect them to act like secure, mature human beings.
Get what we pay for, brother. We get what we pay for.
You get what you pay for, brother. You're right.
And I'm
So stay right or be left. Return to the long time to be wrong.
I get that. Once you plug it, you've got something new going, right?
We're starting, as you can probably tell, me and the gospel are pretty good friends. We're starting a online church, revelationgospelministries.org. We're gonna launch it sometime this month. So I want you guys to join up, give us your email address, because they're gonna shut us off the internet pretty soon now. You know, by October, right before the election, we will not be able to communicate. So join our site, leavetheplantation.org, and the social site is, the Christian site is revelationgospelministries.org. I need your support. I need your help. I need you to stand behind me, because if I speak for a lot of folks, they will start listening. But understand, folks, we are bold. We are embarrassed by boldness. You need to probably go someplace else.
I get that. And I'll put that contact information on my Facebook page, BJ Edwards Facebook page. Again, I thank you very much. I know you're a busy man. I know you got a lot going on. And you know that anything I can do to help you, brother, do so. And please, 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 listeners, share this. This should go out to millions, because it's the truth. It's what we really need to be doing. And you're just not going to hear that on organizations that depend on their millions from not upsetting people, from compromising.
You're right.
Again.
You're right. I appreciate it, buddy.
All right, brother. Thank you very much, Mason. God bless you. Godspeed.
God bless you.
Mason Weaver, man, one of my favorite people. I'll remind you, I met him in Gettysburg, Virginia. It was at a racial reconciliation conference, 2014, racial reconciliation conference, and we were trying to get on a talking basis with one another. And Mason just blew the crowd away with the truth that a lot of people weren't ready to hear. And I've followed him and befriended him since then, and I can't recommend him enough. Cannot recommend him enough. Hey, listen, we're due for a little break. When we get back, I want to tell you what's happening here in America, what I see happening here in America, which I hope you agree with. If you don't, 302-202-1110. And that's 745-353. Do you want me to play one of these banners, Mr. Anderson, or that you got up this morning for a break?
I don't know how it's working. You know, we're testing things. Give it a try.
Okay, we do. Is it in the right one? I don't think I'm in it. Yeah, I am. This one? No?
No, that doesn't.
The videos aren't there?
No, there's only 2 videos. The only one we got is the last call. The black
This one?
The black one.
That one?
The black. No, down.
Yeah, that one.
That one.
Let's try this.
Show.
Keeping you informed. This is Last Call with BJ Edwards.
But it looks cool. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know how to get the sound on everything working yet. Bill wants my picture up, and I can't. I haven't been able to log in as guest to get my my individual picture. I guess the fans are begging for it.
Oh, of course they are. Of course they are. Can you blame them? Can you blame them? The natural family is what makes America great. It's the cornerstone of society. Right now, it's being targeted for destruction. Countless men, women, and children across the country are standing up and fighting back.
Life is winning again in America.
Here at the Natural Family Foundation, and with your help, we will promote, defend, and encourage the growth of the natural family. Strong families make strong people. And we're making America great again, one family at a time. We must take a shovel and dig a deep grave and bury America's colonialism as deep as we can. This I'm not doing a Russia, okay? This is communism. This is what the goal is. This is, I mean, George Soros is a capitalist, and for gain, wants to take America down so he can buy it cheap. And maybe the Illuminati, it's hard to say who's driving all of this. But I can go ahead.
Well, ultimately, we know who's driving it.
We know who their father is.
But there's many fingers in that web, right? It's a web of evil, and you really don't know where the head is. But they're all. I think it's kind of a funny thing. You got that web of evil, and one group is using the other group to do their dirty work, thinking that they can then take that group out and then they'll be in charge.
Yeah.
And it's just a battle between a group of evil organizations. It's not just one. It's many.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend, eh? The head is in hell. You're right, Biker Bill. You're right, Biker Bill. I love it. I love it. We have what we're moving here is socialism. And in order to get socialism, communism, man in charge of things, you have to remove God, which we've pretty much done that. And to finish this off, you have to get the family out of the road. You have to get the family out of the road.
And there is that agenda in place.
And this, well, wait a minute. What do you mean by that? You have to define the family first. You have to define the family. That's critical. And you have to define it properly. It is one man, and I got to say biologically born now, one man, one woman, in a lifelong committed monogamous relationship with their biological or adopted children. That's the structure. Critical. Secondly, you have an order. Ephesians 5 gives you that order. It's God, Jesus Christ, man, woman, children, and that is a vertical relationship. Vertical. There's a reason for that. Children learn authority in the family. Respect for authority in the family. At least they should. In the streets of Minneapolis, in Columbus, Ohio, and Detroit, all across the United States, New York, we're seeing lack of parenting. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing confusion, yes, but you're also seeing lack of respect for authority. Why isn't that there? It isn't there because they don't see it. They don't see a reason for it in the family. A majority of a certain minority don't have fathers. And us white folks are trying to get up to that level. It's a destruction of that order. Gay marriage, really? No. killing a child because you can't afford them? So I suppose, given this pandemic, a lot of parents can no longer afford to have 5 children or 4 children, 2 children, maybe even 1 child. So following that logic, you obviously would be okay to kill your child, right? Can't afford them. What kind of insane reasoning is that anyway? Really? We cringe when we see puppies being hurt, right? Come on. Where are you supposed to learn that? Your government-run schools? Nah. In the home, in the family is where you're going to learn that. Thirdly, and it's just as important, is the family's place in society. As an institution, the family. One man, one woman, lifelong, committed monogamous relationship, that family, in a vertical relationship, patriarchal, oh, heaven forbid, works better that way. It just works better that way. There are exceptions. Of course there are exceptions. We have laws in the United States, but we have exceptions to the laws. The law in the United States should be that we have families, one man, one woman, as we said before. That should be it. That should be it. Get a buzz here. I wonder if that's... Oop. What did I just do? Okay. Me and a computer. I'm very dangerous. If you give me and a computer together. Nothing there. All right. We're okay. So I'm trying to let you understand why we're falling apart as a society. And yes, we are falling apart as a society. Fathers are not making a decision as to whether they can see their fathers or family members in a hospital. They're letting the government take care of that, or businesses take care of that. Really? That's how that's supposed to work? Somebody was talking to me the other day about a mother who'd just seen a child, and they hadn't seen him for 4 weeks, because of fear. Of what? Of what? A boogeyman? As the facts come out, as they're allowed to come out, I guess I should say that, we're finding out more and more about this virus, if you will. We're headed towards communism. We're already almost totally socialist. I mean, 50% of our taxes go to the government, so how much more before we make it official? Nikita Khrushchev, in a 1961 speech at the Institute of Marxism, said that peaceful coexistence with the Soviet Union, with communism, with socialism, means intense economic, political, and ideological struggle between the proletariat and the aggressive forces of imperialism, capitalism, in the world arena. It's all about the individual, right? Atomization. But somebody's going to rule that. Khrushchev later remarked in his speech in Yugoslavia that he once said, "We will bury you," and that he got in trouble with it. But then he went on to say, of course, we will not bury you with a shovel. Your own working class. You want to know what the working class looks like? Take a look at the pictures today from Minnesota, from Ohio, from New York, from Detroit. Those people in the streets are the working class. And they're working to make us socialist. They can't do it on their own, as Mason Weaver indicated. That's how they're thinking. They can't do it on their own. They have to have Big Brother's help. And I'm not talking in a family way, all right? In a government way, Big Brother. Wow. Your working class will bury you. The proletariat is the undertaker of capitalism. The proletariat is the undertaker of capitalism. is translated as a grave digger, by the way. What the bourgeoisie therefore produces above all are its own grave diggers. Its fall and victory of the proletariat are equally inevitable. In his memoirs, Khrushchev stated that enemy propaganda programming picked up the slogan and blew it all out of proportion. There's a website that I went to called Destroy Capitalism Now. On that, should we take a quick break, Mr. Anderson?
Yeah.
Let's do that. B.J. Edwards Long,
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson, your last call.
Well, quick break.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it from here today because I don't want to lose our Facebook.
We'll try this.
Last call with BJ Edwards. Real talk about real life.
That
Like to play a song for you, but Facebook gets kind of possessive when you play songs, and we've yet to work that out yet. The idea is to present us on more platforms, which we're doing, but we're not quite familiar with the rules. We got caught for speeding last week, so we're gonna drive slower than usual, right, Mr. Anderson?
That's right. Yeah, we got to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure it out. It's a little rough around the edges, but old dogs learning new tricks.
These are old dogs too. From the website, Destroy Capitalism Now. The communist transformation of society will involve the abolition of the family, the nuclear family form, which it takes today. Now, what do they mean by that? The family, a core institution. Hang in there, Mr. Weaver. We'll be right with you. The family, a core institution in class society associated which tries to englobe sexual reproduction, is a hotbed for all kinds of indoctrination, repression, violence, and abuse. That's the family they're talking about. Got a caller on the line?
Yes.
Roger, welcome to Last Call.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Well, I'm calling to report in from the demonstration, protest, riot of Black Lives Matter in Columbus, Ohio. People are gathering downtown, and I cannot help but think of your emphasis over the family over the years. And the reason we are in this mess is because dads are out of many of the homes of these kids.
Yeah.
Be it black, white, Chicano, green, yellow, I don't care. Dads are gone. Dads are not mentioned as being important. And this is why we have all these problems. Many of them. And the crowd is gathering here, and hopefully it'll be a peaceful demonstration. But they're out in force, and it's unbelievable.
Are you there?
I'm here, baby. Yeah.
Okay, you're in downtown Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah, I'm a man on the street.
Oh, good. We have a live reporter, ladies and gentlemen, from downtown Columbus, Ohio. How many folks would you say there are there right now? And is there a time when they're supposed to start?
I do not know. I would say right now I'm looking at a solid 1,000. Okay.
Whoa.
They're at Broad and High in the State House, and a solid 1,000 are here.
Sign?
It makes the Open Ohio rally, which dealt, I guess, more with our First and Second Amendments, maybe. I don't know, but in our right to work. But there's a crowd down here. There really is. And I'm getting closer now, and let's see here. There's a crowd right at Broad and High. It's about, 11 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people here.
My goodness. Do they have guns?
Well, no, it's just a lot. It's really, Jim, it's really interesting, and I don't want to dominate the program too much, but I just wanted to call in and be the man on the street for you.
We appreciate
big
that.
crowd, lots of signs. I don't know, we all agree what took place in Minnesota was terrible. all understand that. We all agree with that. But looting and robbing and breaking and destroying, was that what Martin Luther King stood for?
I don't think so, Tim.
So big crowd, and I'm glad they are exercising their free speech. I hope they let everybody do that, us Christians and everything. And I don't see a police officer anywhere. Remember when Open, Ohio was down here? The police were everywhere.
State Highway Patrol.
Everywhere. And here you go. You can hear it. Do you hear it?
Yeah, you can hear it. Vaguely.
What are they chanting?
Yeah, what are they chanting, Roger?
Black Lives Matter. Jim,
Okay.
there is not a police officer anywhere. Do you remember in Open, Ohio, they were
Yes.
horses everywhere?
Yep.
Police everywhere, mounted police. I mean, there's police cars I'm going by now, but the physical presence, well, there's a police. I feel bad for these police officers, Jim. It's terrible. When I call 911, I thank God that there's a police officer or a sheriff that's going to respond. I'm so grateful for that. And you have some lunatic up in Minnesota who, it looked to me, was possessed, and the entire police force across America is blamed for it, and then they blame Donald Trump for it.
Yeah, that's not right.
No, it's not right. It's and they don't want any due process. They want, lock them up. Let's take care of the police officer tomorrow. They don't want any due process, no constitutional rights. But if something were to happen to them or their brother or their sister, they'd be sure to go get a lawyer when every bit of constitutional rights put in place. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I would say there was a solid 1,000 there, and at Broad and High, I'm filtering out myself right now. But it's sad. It's sad. So.
Well, Roger, we appreciate you. By the way, take care of yourself, brother. That might get interesting down there.
Well, I just want to be known. Well, I just want to be. I'm the natural family man on the street reporter. So.
Well, I appreciate that, and I would love to have you ask some of those folks down there what their fathers and mothers think about this. What their fathers, especially.
Jim, it first of all, it's unbelievable. I think that's a question that would be hard for them to answer. But Jim, you and I know the statistics are so clear. In the Black American family, 70% of the kids are being raised without a father in the home. In the white American community, the figure is lower, but not by a whole lot. You know what I'm saying?
It's growing, yeah.
And we all, and that is why we are in this predicament. This is why there's been no fatherly guidance with so many of these people as they've been growing up. So.
Well, again, we appreciate you calling in, brother. You take care of yourself down there.
All righty. We'll talk later.
All right, sir. Thanks for the calling in.
Thanks, Roger.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess it is going on in Columbus, Ohio then again. But why? What? Why? What purpose does this serve other than weaken yourself? And that is, listen to what Mason Weaver said. You're begging, asking, demanding. Take those energies and put them to good use, huh? What about that? Take all that energy, all that time, all that money, all that commitment. Start a business. Hopefully somebody won't burn it down, right? Or steal from you, huh? What are we doing, America? And this is lack of leadership, and it does come down to the family, and the male in the family must be that leader. But wait a minute. You got to have a male to start with, don't you? Don't you? If you want to take a good look at what lack of good family upbringing can give you, just flip on the TV today. You're going to see it all across America. 50% divorce rate. High percentages of families where there's no father there. also percentage of families where there's multiple parents. How confusing is that? Or a parent that's not really a male or not really a female, and the child knows the difference. Hey, we're going to have to take a break. When we come back, I'll restart my Communist Manifesto. B.J. Edwards along with Mr. Anderson, your last call.
Keeping you informed. This is Last Call with B.J. Edwards.
Are we geared up for the second hour, Mr. Anderson?
We're back.
Hey.
We're back.
You're listening to Last Call. If you're new to the program, if you're new to Last Call, and you just tuned in, we believe that as goes the family, so goes the nation. We define the family as it appears in nature and is supported by nature. That is one man, one woman, lifelong committed monogamous relationship with their biological and or adopted children. Families are the foundation, they're the cornerstone, they're the glue, they're the thread that holds all civilizations together. We do believe that the Bible is the best gift God ever given to man, as Abe Lincoln said. But if your family is broken, God didn't start with the church. He started with the family, which naturally became the church. And then governments. But it started with the family. That's how civilization started. That's how it managed to get through hundreds of years, thousands of years. If it wasn't for the family, we wouldn't be here, folks. And if it wasn't for the family, or because the family isn't really intact, we're experiencing what we're experiencing today. Pick a subject. Politics, sex, drugs. You're going to find a direct relationship to family or lack thereof. A good family, a bad family. It all depends on the family. As goes the family, so goes the nation. So when we talk here, our template, our paradigm is the family. And you have to define it, and you have to define it properly. The communist transformation of society must involve the destruction of the family, and the nuclear family, or the natural family, is what we should really say. I've got another article around here that was talking about the destruction of the family and how they want to use this coronavirus event to help destroy the family. They look at patriarchal and how bad men are. And you know, men can be bad. Men can be bad, and they can destroy things.
That's why we have a savior.
Yes, exactly. Our nature's that way.
We're just not good.
And when you're in a leadership role, it's easier to see the bad. Amen? A hotbed for all kinds of indoctrination, as the anti-family folks say. Repression, violence, and abuse. Hosting every backward phenomenon you can imagine. But the enemy, the socialists who say the family, they acknowledge the importance of the family. It accomplishes some necessary, useful social functions. But their answer to that is to be taken up by other institutions in the transition to socialism. The family is a necessity in class society based on economic and social oppression, which incentivize people to marry, the economic dependence of children on parents, and the lack of social institutions which can replace it. We have our public schools which have taken over the education of a child. And how's that working for y'all? I'll wait. How's that working? Real well? I don't think so, Tim. I don't think so. 302-202-1110 and then 745-353. If you'd like to talk to myself or Mr. Anderson, if you've got some thoughts on the supposed racism that is going on in America today.
It's not about racism. It's about right and wrong.
Yeah? What do you mean by that?
Well, they call it racism, but they're attacking anything and everybody. Interesting video clips shown of the Los Angeles riots that happened, and
oh yeah,
they ganged up on their
a black business owner.
Yes, and he was out defending his property, and it was like
they destroyed his life's work.
They did, and he came from where they are, or where they think they are.
He took that energy, that commitment, and did something positive with it. How hard is that? Evidently pretty hard, as evidenced by thousands in Columbus, Ohio, and thousands in New York, and thousands in Detroit. Go ahead, Mr. Anderson.
It has nothing to do with race. It just, what's right and wrong. And this wrong behavior that's going on, and it's untempered, out of fear or out of agenda, I don't know which or both, but what happened in Minneapolis with the police station, and there was no arrest, zero. I don't know about that. I saw this monologue by Tucker Carlson. I don't get to see that very often, but I caught that one. And they went in and they destroyed this police station. I think they set it on fire. And walked out with zero arrest. That's uncalled for. That there should have been several arrested, many charged with, at the very least, trespassing and destruction of property. I don't know what other kinds of things.
Power, Mr. Anderson. Doesn't this show that you can have power? Biker Bill says that we're making more racist. I agree. We're glorifying this. We're excusing it. Good morning, Sharon.
It's not a topic I like to be on. I didn't even want to go there today. I try to shut this out. But it's probably, we just got a report down in Columbus. I mean, this is not small potatoes, This, whatever is coming of this, and ultimately, we the law-abiding citizens are losing freedom as a result of this. We are losing more and more of our freedom because we're law-abiding citizens. We're gonna obey the law because we do. That's what we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever reason we come up with, the law-abiding citizens are the ones that are losing here, and I don't know who they are, but the people that we expect to protect us are doing the opposite. They're not protecting us and our rights. They are bending over for the lawless ones and giving them more freedom to act than we have as law-abiding citizens. They're unpunished for what they're doing. They're walking into stores, taking what they want, destroying property, calling people names, these are not demonstrations. These are not protests. This is rioting. This is terrorism. It's probably, in my perspective of what I've seen, is terrorism. Because terrorism is what is used to control other people when you don't have
fear.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And how do you instill fear?
Yeah, yeah. Get all that. And what message are we sending here? Parents, come on, think up here. Parents, you've got children. They're misbehaving. How do you handle that? Oh, Johnny. Oh, Susan. What can I give you that would make you happy? What can I give you? That always works, didn't it, parents? Just give them more.
Like the child that throws a tantrum in the store
Spoil
because
them.
they don't get that toy.
Yeah, spoil them.
Oh, well, how can I...
I better give them that toy. Better give that toy. And on the way out, they see another toy. I better give them that one too. Because if I don't, I'm not being a good parent. I'm not being a good parent. I was reading from a article I caught from Destroy Capitalism Now, and they're trying to, in their efforts to destroy the nuclear family, they call it, which is actually the natural family. Today, the main backwards role the family plays is the oppression of children, subjected to the tyranny of parents, and denied the basic rights which should belong to every human. Free development of personality. I guess that's what they're doing in downtown Columbus and what they're doing in Minneapolis, St. Paul area, right? Free development of personality. What are we encouraging, America? For God's sakes, what are we encouraging? And I want to ask the question, where is the church? And how is the church going to respond to this? They're likely going to do what I just said bad parents do. They're not going to scold the child. We don't want to offend the sinner. No, praise God. Have to end it that way, don't they? The family is responsible for producing authoritarian, obedient, repressed humans. That's called well-behaved, by the way. To step out of the norm. By setting parents against the children, furthermore, the family divides the working class, similar to sexism and racism. In fact, even the barbarous extreme of domestic violence against children, including corporal punishment, is allowed in the vast majority of the capitalistic world, being legal in 90% of countries. This means parents can beat up children, which can mean up to 18 years of age, for actions which usually consist of things like reading a book they don't like. Get that pornography out of this room. We are so sick. So sick. I want to talk about the coronavirus a little bit, but before I get into that, we usually do headlines. Let's do that now, Mr. Anderson.
Headlines.
Da-da-da. President Trump signs order to fight online censorship. I wonder, 302-202-1110, how effective do you think that'll be, folks? Remember compromise and commitment? How effective do you think that'll be? Who do you think that's going to affect? It's going to come right back on the people that are already being oppressed. Trust me. Especially if you're Christian. And especially if you're white. Well, are you saying there is racism, BJ? I don't know. You figure it out. Biden reveals plans to restrict your religious freedoms. New Pixar kids film centers on gay main character coming out to parents. Here we go again. The coronavirus crisis shows it's time to abolish the family. And this is from an article that I read, a recent article. I'll just give you an excerpt from it, and it's on the Natural Family Facebook page, by the way. In short, the pandemic is no time to forget about the need to get rid of the nuclear family. Far from time to acquiesce to family values ideology. In other words, don't depend on your family during this pandemic. It's the last thing you should be doing. The pandemic is an acutely important time to evacuate and generally empower survivors of, evacuate people from the home, survivors of, and refugees from the nuclear household, heaven forbid, which makes us believe we are individuals. We deserve better than family, and the time of the corona is an excellent time to abolish it. Police around the world, new headline, place orders for high-tech surveillance helmets that scan COVID-19 fevers. This whole thing is feverish. Transgender people in Hungary lose right to gender recognition. Oh, doggone it. Just when we were getting somewhere with dividing the family that way. I got one other headline. I'm going to take a quick break. This is B.J. Edwards along with Mr. Anderson. Your last call. Normally you hear music, but we're still working that out. Still what? Negotiating that contract?
Well, it may not come back, but we'll see. We're working on something.
Last call with B.J. Edwards. Real talk about real life.
As we build our video crew across the land, we'll come up with some interesting commercial breaks, and we could invite people who have announcements and things that they share with us, and we can post little messages on our break time.
Little video.
Keeping you informed. This is Last Call with B.J. Edwards.
Here's actually a couple more headlines. And these are from the Family Research Council. How does the UN spell relief? ABORTION. The ultimate authority on church reopening? God. Another headline. I like the Family Research Council. It's a nonprofit research and educational organization dedicated to articulating and advancing a family-centered public philosophy of public life. We're all for that. In addition to providing policy research and analysis for the legislative, executive, and judicial branches of the federal government, FCR mainly gets involved with federal government, with our lawmakers. FCR seeks to inform the news media, the academic community, business leaders, and the general public about family issues that affect the nation from a biblical worldview, and they are biblically oriented. Our vision is prevailing culture in which all human life is valued, families flourish, and religious liberty thrives. Good, great organization. But comparatively speaking, more limited in scope of influence in their approach. And I believe they're more defensive in nature. In other words, if something goes on in society, they'll try to get the lawmakers to pass a law to undo that, which I would call the treatment of symptoms. And they are definitely not bipartisan, and I'll get into that a little bit. Again, great organization, not quite the broad scope that we have with the natural family, and they're definitely not as bipartisan. And when I say bipartisan, we are in a cultural war, and it's being fought on the field of public opinion. And if you're going to, we live in a nation that's run by a democratic process, democracy, the process. We the people. We vote. The majority. That's how we get our laws. Majority. At least that's how we're supposed to get them. And again, that's where somebody like the FCR Council, when the public opinion isn't where it needs to be, you need an organization like that. The other side have organizations like that. They pass laws that the majority of people don't believe in, or don't want to listen to, don't even want to adhere to, but they still get passed. But in the main, it is public opinion. Public opinion, today's public opinion, or tomorrow's laws, those laws are the next generation's morals. And you can see that you can see that today, sadly. Wow. Their vision is a prevailing culture in which all human life is valued, families flourish, and religious liberties thrives. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there you find liberty. We definitely believe in that. The mission statement of the Family Research Council is to advance faith, family, freedom in public policy and the culture from a biblical worldview, which we like to call natural laws. The critical importance of the family institution, which we plainly define in terms of content, structure, and their place in society. I believe that's what they're talking about at the Family Research Council. I went to their Facebook page, their website. What is the Family Research Council's mission and when was it founded? Family Research Council was founded in 1983 with a mission to champion marriage and family as the foundation of civilization and the seedbed of virtue and the wellspring of society. On this, we are identical in our missions. FCR does shape public debate and formulates public policy that values human life, upholds the institution of marriage and the family. All that good. They're based in Washington, D.C., which enables their staff to talk to public leaders, which is good. Our location, and by the way, that makes them effective watchdog in that town. Our location is nationwide. FCR is unique in their research and education with the congressman. They analyze these issues and many more. We're working to persuade government officials to pass laws that protect traditional values, is exactly what they're doing. But we also want the government to protect and defend the family first. By actually, and this is something that needs to be done, promote it to the point that the family, not the government, is the final arbiter on issues. Maybe it'll work going to the government and asking them permission to do the right thing. Maybe that'll work. But we believe that public opinion through the families, it's the same thing as through the church. And that's basically how we got into the natural family mode. The church is broke. The government is broke. The educational system is broke. America is broke because the family's broke. And you have to fix it first. And I think that's where we are with regards to the philosophy of most of the other family organizations. Again, they're good. They're doing great things, and we'd be in a heck of a lot worse shape if it wasn't for FCR and organizations like that. But there is a place for what we're trying to do. I look at it as prevention as versus treatment. We're trying to prevent the issues that are coming up, that are causing treatments for what is happening in America. We want to reestablish the family Not reinvent it, reestablish it to where it truly belongs. And that's the head of the table. And if anything is to be asked, it's of the families and not of the government. You have the family, you have the church, and you have the government, the three institutions that God established for the benefit of man. We believe that the family is at the head of that table. That when push comes to shove, it's the decision of the family, not the government, not the President of the United States, but of the family that should prevail. We are a bipartisan group, which means we're not just going after the Christians. Critical, important, should carry the day. But in case you haven't noticed, Christians haven't really been doing their job. And Joe the six-pack knows that he doesn't want his 14-year-old daughter being pregnant, 16-year-old son being a prom queen, or being in his fifth marriage. None of that does he want. And he doesn't have to be a Christian. Yeah, it should help. But he doesn't have to be a Christian to know that. We're born with an app. A family app, as I like to refer to it. And a moral app. We know the difference between right and wrong. We know the difference between right and wrong. Now, the devil is in the detail, if you will, with regards to salvation. And I get all that, and we're not going to have that discussion. What we're discussing is public opinion. And you don't have to beat Joe the six-pack up against the head with the Bible to get him to do the right thing, especially when it comes to this family situation. We need to get a public movement going in America where we address the critical problem, and that is the broken family. The lack of fathers. You want to see examples of broken families? How many of those folks that are out protesting today think come from a Ozzie and Harriet type program, family program? And I'm not saying that because Ozzie and Harriet were white. We know the difference. And that's what's causing the problems in America today. Till we fix that, nothing else is going to happen. Positive. Can't fix the church without the family, folks. FCR can't, Family Council Research, cannot support a political candidate. We can. We're self-funded. Actually, we're an idea more than an organization. And an idea whose time has come. Well overdue. There's so many people that are being hurt. Those lives have been destroyed. And I don't understand this. I know God's in control. But lives that have been destroyed because of their family life. Go to your prison systems. Ask them about their family life, folks. Ask them about it. See what you find out. I think you'll find about 90 to 99.9% have had severe family issues. Lack of a father. I just thought about David Arthur and what he went through as a transgender and a homosexual, which I believe in large part were due to his not having a father, his needing that relationship, that love, and looking everywhere for it, not knowing where to find it. And until he's on his deathbed, until he was on his deathbed, that's where he found it. That's a tough way to go. Tough way to go. Great story, great witness.
God used it for good.
Mm-hmm. But I I certainly wouldn't want to have to learn that way. Although I am stubborn and opinionated, so there's a lot of that goes around. I think a lot of men and women are stubborn and opinionated, to be honest with you. So anyway, I wanted to look at FRC. I definitely support. I just want to, if in case you're saying, well, why would I support the Natural Family Foundation, or why would I go along with the Natural Family Foundation and not FRC? Do both, folks. Cover your bases. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for money. We're asking for your support. If now, on the other hand, if you see something like, hey, BJ, I was listening to your program today, and you guys are all over the place technically. Don't you have any technical help? No, we don't. We don't. Could use that. So if you want to chip in that way, fine. Find somebody that's committed to the family, that's willing to help us with our productions. Find somebody that's committed to the family to help us with our marketing, that can help promote our pledge. Whew. There's just so many things to do to help out, to help us network with other organizations. Natural Family Strong, folks. NaturalFamilyStrong.com. Appreciate all the help you can give us. Tell folks about our program. Help us fix it first. What's that, Mr. Anderson?
Short break.
Short break? All right. We'll take a short break. This is
Regroup.
BJ Edwards along with Mr. Anderson, your last call.
Keeping you informed. This is Last Call with BJ Edwards.
Figure out a way that we can... we got another call coming in?
Sounds like it.
Not there. A way that we can...
Little distraction there.
do our program a little bit better. Take calls. My goodness. Just all over the place. Nothing there. That's strange. Strange.
Well, we're broadcasting to more formats. We've got, right now we're broadcasting to Facebook on our Last Call podcast page. You can find us there. You can find us at Minutemen United Facebook page. You can find us at Twitch, which I'm not sure I like that format very well. It's mostly for gamers, but we're there, and we have gotten some responses from it. And we are on YouTube. And we're looking for a variety of outlets. One, we want to get the word out. Two, if one goes down, maybe the others will still work. What I mean by going down is if the powers that be start cutting different things off, the more places you can find us.
Hang on a second. I'm going to add Ryan to us. Ryan, are you with us? Can you hear us okay? I see him, but I don't hear him. Ryan, can you hear us?
Hey, Jim. Good morning. Or BJ.
Yeah, hang on. Try that again, Ryan.
I don't know if the connection's
talking,
working
sir.
that well.
There's the problem I didn't anticipate. You're going to have to listen with the headset from the other computer.
From this one?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, if I get it. I can't get it down there. Hey, Ryan, I gotta get another headset. We're trying new stuff here, so bear with us, Ryan.
I might have to do just the audio.
All right, let's see that. Oh,
I can't hear anything.
okay, let's try that again. Can you speak to me, Ryan?
We might have to do just the audio.
No, we're good. We're video and audio now. Got you fixed. This is Ryan from California, a good friend of ours, good friend of the family's, great friend of the family's. And Ryan, you're doing a little outreach today in California, is that right? I don't know whether Ryan can hear
Hey,
us.
sorry,
Is there?
this connection seems to be kind of choppy. Hey, BJ,
Hey, what are you doing today?
you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Maybe I'll try calling. See if I turn off. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. It's a question whether you can hear
Jim
me.
or BJ?
Hey Ryan, I gotta get another headset. We're trying new stuff here, so bear with us, Ryan.
Okay, is that better?
I can hear you.
I just shut off the audio. Or I shut off the video. Maybe the audio will work.
Okay. It's a question of whether you can hear us. Can you hear me?
No, we're good. We're video and audio now. That's fixed. This is Ryan from California.
You know what I'm going to do? Maybe.
Okay, I don't know what.
He dropped off of there.
Hello?
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, I don't know if that's going to work. Sometimes the reception is kind of choppy. I think it might be now. So,
Okay.
I
Well,
don't know if
as long as you can hear us
yeah, I can hear you.
and we can hear you. What's going on in California?
So we're having a rally today. We're not going to be deterred by the racial tensions that have been stirred up in the past couple of days to reopen California because of this whole lockdown. So we've had a couple at the Capitol. I was arrested on May 1st along with 32 others, and we're going to continue to start our rallies in these cities, although the media is doing its best to shift the focus onto these racial tensions. They're really good at this.
Sure. And rightfully so. You're basically protesting the rights that you've lost because of the Corona Boogie Man, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they've shut the state down. There's really no sign that we'll be opening in the near future, and they've crashed our economy deliberately. And the end result of this is going to be kind of control and the loss of our rights that we've never dreamed of here in America. Once America's gone, that's the end for the world. So, I mean, the media is really slick about this because 1,000 men a year perish in interactions with police. Maybe about 10 of those are controversial, and they are extremely good at taking those 10 and hyping and sensationalizing them to drown out any other news that's going on. They're very, very good at this. In contrast, 1,000 men a year perishing in controversial interactions with the police with only 10 with controversial, with 100 million dead from communism in the past 100 years. And you begin to see, if we use critical thinking, you could see through the media smokescreen.
Okay. And by your, I'll call it an outreach. You can call it a protest, but your outreach, your government outreach, exercising your freedom of speech, what message do you want to get to the government, to your, I'll use this term political leaders, but I use that lightly. What's the message you're trying to get out, and where are you delivering this at?
It's going to be at one of the busiest places in Vallejo. It's 198 Plaza Drive. There's a Costco there, where Costco nationwide has mandated everybody wear a mask. So if you read the science, masks are not, they don't do anything. They're actually more harmful than helpful. And so our message to the leaders is that we as Californians are not going to be tyrannized over, that rebellion against tyranny is obedience to God. We realize that their game that they've been playing, like separating the races, the genders, the religions, pretty much separating everybody, and they want to divide and conquer us. But at the end of the day, we are not going to allow that to happen, and we demand the rights that weren't given to us by any government or by any voter. They were given to us by God. And so we believe rebellion to tyranny is obedience to God.
Yes, sir. And that is true. I want to give you some good news, okay? You'll enjoy this. I went to Costco yesterday, and they asked me if I had a mask, and I said no. They said, well, here, we'll give you one. And I said, that won't be necessary. And I said for health reasons, and you started to talk about them, but there are good health reasons why you shouldn't wear a mask. But I said for health reasons, I choose not to. And I went in and I shopped.
Wow.
And I was the only one in there, and you know the looks you're going to get. You know the looks you're going to get. But I want to encourage you. I'm a lot like you, or you're a lot like I am. I like to test things just to make sure. You know what I mean? So anyway, I give that to you. But Costco does resemble what is going on in our society, and that is they're taking the government's word for what they're saying, and they're spreading the fear by requiring the face mask to be worn, and that I disagree with. Definitely disagree with.
Yeah. Because I think for the longest time, probably like about 100 years at least, what's happened is we have a tiny group of people, maybe 300 to 1,000 men, that control the media. And so what they do is, with the media, they control our minds, which control the politicians, which control the laws, which control the corporations.
Yes.
And it's ridiculous that we have allowed ourselves to get into a situation where basically 300 men are telling the entire world what to do. That's what's happening. Because this media is controlled by there's a tiny group, the CFR is part of it, these globalist bankers. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is well documented. There's hundreds, thousands of books which the media will ignore and dismiss, but they're out there. And I think once you recognize who these are and who what their intent is, things become a whole lot clearer.
Right. To me, and I appreciate what you're saying, to me it's not really who's doing this, but it's how we react to it. And that's why you're so special. And I always afford a lot of time for the doers out there that are trying to stop this insanity that we're going through in America today. And there's no such thing as doing the wrong thing. In this case, you're doing something,
right, and
you never know how that's going to work out. You never know.
Yeah, and I think too, because Christ was very clear, he says, "Be wise as serpents and harmless as doves." Mm-hmm. And when you go to war, one of the things that wins wars is intelligence, knowing who are you fighting,
right?
What are they? Knowing their tactics, their strategies. Because the more you know about them, the more the better chance you have to win. Now, every one of us has an enemy every single day, and his name is Satan. And so if you observe him and see what he's up to inside yourself with our own inclinations, we get really good at warfare, whether we want to be or not. If you do the right thing, you're going to have a war on your hands. So and then you show, you track a lot of these things down. And a lot of times, too, a lot of the truths we're going to come to about ourselves and what's going on in the world, they're going to be uncomfortable truths. They're going to be truths that a lot of us have been trained since we were birthed to ignore or dismiss. But you're going to have to follow the fact, like I think it was Sherlock Holmes said, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever is left, however improbable, must information, and to say, okay, this can't be true, this can be true, till eventually we decide this must be true. It's like Solomon said, it was like a search for silver. And when you're searching for silver, you don't just go to a piece of land and be like, my job is over. I found the silver, let's go home. No, you have to go through a lot of dirt and a lot of effort to find that silver. It's the same thing with the truth. And that's why diligence and work is very noble in that area. But the thing is, behind a lot of it, there are people and organizations that are hard at work. Those who have not studied who exactly funded the Bolshevik Revolution and communism in China, do that. Because there's a great book by Myron Fagan called The Illuminati and the CFR. It's brilliant. Myron Fagan was a brilliant Jew. He wrote the book back in the 1960s. And he wrote it about other Jews, as a matter of fact. So I think that's a really great one. Henry McCow has a great website. The UN's Review is really fantastic. These are all things I found in the past 3 months. And so kind of like, when you're on betrayal, there's somebody behind it. It's kind of like Sherlock Holmes. There was a Moriarty that was behind all of the evil. Well, there are a group of people that pretty much everything that we're facing today, yeah, it's Satan, but there's a group of people that, for the vast majority of the world's ills, they're behind it.
Amazing, amazing. So when are you going to visit Costco this morning?
Yeah, hour and 15 minutes away. 10 o'clock this morning, we're going to go till about 2, and then there's another rally in Napa from about 2 to 4. But the big news about this is that we're starting to get rallies in, I'd say, 20 at least of the 56 counties in California have already had rallies, and eventually it's going to get to the point to where every single county in California has these rallies. So basically, you just simply overwhelm the opposition. Already, we haven't even been doing wide-scale rallies, and the CHP already has had to pay out $1 million in overtime to handle being there with snipers and horses and all this, which is completely unnecessary at these rallies. Also, in a very positive development, last Saturday we were at a rally, and we left, and then basically at 11 at night, because I went downtown and I was just kind of walking around. I grew up there, so I wanted to see how things were. Well, there was 10,000 Latino lowriders at least who were showing up with no masks and no social distancing whatsoever. So the significance of that is that the Latino community happens to be one of the biggest voting blocs of Democrats in California and in America.
Interesting.
And so if they're basically just defying this shutdown publicly, that is not good news for the Democrats at all.
Now, Ron, there are laws or rules in California where if you're going to the protest today, do you have to have a mask if you're standing outside by California law or act?
Vallejo just mandated masks. I think they said indoors, but it's pretty much like it's expected that. There's people passing by in cars wearing masks now. It's very rare you can go anywhere without somebody wearing a mask. It's very frequent outdoors. So they haven't explicitly said that it's mandatory outdoors, but they have said that basically it's advised everywhere in Vallejo. So I think openly doing that in a place like Costco, where the last time everybody walking in was wearing a mask. So I just think fear paralyzes and disables us.
Yes.
Which is why the Bible is very clear: be not afraid. But if you look at the actual facts, like what you're saying, those masks are far more harmful than helpful.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen to that. Well, good luck in your efforts today, brother. And I appreciate you being out there, standing up for the truth. I'm sorry you got arrested, and I hope that works out well. What can we do to support you? Any kind of a website or any information that we need to give out additional to our audience?
Yeah, the website is messanonews.com, MESSANO news.com. And I do about maybe 2 articles a week on there. I was doing it daily, but about 2 articles a week is that's pretty much all I have time for now. And then, but yeah, that's the main thing. And I think the main thing is just everywhere that people are is just in a nonviolent, peaceful, civil disobedience fashion, is just standing up to this tyranny, because it is tyranny. That's what this is. And if we don't resist this right now, the very forces that were behind 100 million being killed by communism are behind this as well. Our schools don't really teach us that much about communism and stuff, but I'll tell you, it was pretty vicious and brutal. Reading Solzhenitsyn, his Gulag Archipelago, you begin to understand the horror that is involved with basically people who take over a society, and then they begin to, the intellectuals, like I was reading what happened in Cambodia, they took the intellectuals, that would be us, and these kids, which these kids today have been badly brainwashed, lined them up against the wall and shot them. So if we're not careful, these same forces are coming here to America. See, it was American globalist bankers out of New York and London that funded these movements in China and Russia. And when they had subjugated those areas, now they're coming to the last place on earth that they don't yet control, and that's America. When they take us over, their new world order and all that inevitable. There's nothing we can do to stop it. But thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on my show, and yeah, we'll be in touch to let you know the results, what happened.
Please do. Please do. You're welcome to call into the show next week and give us an update. I'd love to hear that. I appreciate your efforts. Godspeed, brother. Ryan Messano from
Thank
California. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
May his tribe increase.
Oh, he's a breath of fresh air, as they say.
Yeah. Yep.
He got up early, didn't he? Come and talk to us.
Yeah, he did.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's an early riser, but they're a few hours behind us.
This is B.J. Edwards along with Mr. Anderson. Your last call.
Last call with B.J. Edwards. Real talk about real life.
I had talked to Ryan about Costco. As is my one, I did visit a few stores this week just to get a general feel about what's going on. And I was quite encouraged, to be honest with you. And because I saw more and more folks who are not wearing masks. The one exception, of course, what I mentioned, Costco. Unlike Sam's Club, by the way, which doesn't force its patrons to wear masks. That's Sam's Club. So there it was in Costco without my mask, once again having not to wear it for health reasons. And I did think that maybe Costco management might say something to me this time. Speaking of masks, in many countries during this pandemic, wearing a mask in public is still optional, but recommended. Quite recently, the World Health Organization said that wearing a mask doesn't guarantee that healthy people won't get infected. Ours use masks should be reserved for the sick people and health workers. And there are a list of good reasons that if you're not sick, you really don't want to wear a mask. Just saying. I've been telling you for weeks now. We've been telling you for weeks now. There's just something very wrong about this COVID boogeyman scare. Especially the inconsistencies as exhibited by the doctor-in-chief, Anthony Fauci, which I like to call Twinkle Toes. I saw something on the internet the other day with regards to the aforementioned doctor. It was about him being totally wrong on predictions and contradictions. It mentioned it's hard to believe, but America's top infectious disease doctor has been wrong on the coronavirus pandemic seemingly every step of the way. And this is from Arthur Mark Simone. I don't know him, but I'm talking about him this morning. He gives a list of several errors, contradictory statements. For example, Dr. Fauci says he warned Trump in January that the U.S. was in real trouble. Yet during the very same January, the good doctor apparently told Newsmax TV that the United States did not have a worry about the coronavirus, and it was not a major threat. Dr. Fauci warned of an apocalyptic coronavirus pandemic, say that 3 times. Then, just weeks later, he compared the coronavirus to a bad flu. He based all of his predictions on models that were eventually found to be off by not hundreds, not thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but by millions. And then later told reporters, you can't really rely on the models. This is a guy who's making his predictions based on models, saying that you really can't depend on models. In March, Dr. Fauci jumped in during a press conference, briefing on hydrochloroquine treatment for coronavirus, and corrected the president, saying, you got to be careful when you say fairly effective. It was never done in a clinical trial. Exactly 2 weeks later, hydrochloroquine was deemed the most highly rated treatment for the novel coronavirus in an international poll of more than 6,000 doctors. Dr. Fauci followed his garbage model every step of the way. according to the author. A month ago, Dr. Fauci claimed 1 to 2 million Americans would die from the coronavirus. Then he said 100,000 to 200,000. On Easter, Dr. Fauci suggested President Trump should have shut down the economy in February, when the number of known cases in the U.S. was around 100. Fauci later walked back his statements. Dr. Fauci said the crisis, it was cruises okay, and the malls, said that malls, movies, and gyms were okay. Again, what do we really know about this virus? And how is it that this pandemic can be replaced in a number of seconds by something that happened in Minnesota? What's going on here? Or do you already know? We've been telling you for 2 months. We've warned you. How many people have lost their livelihoods? Many of you don't know, most of you don't know how difficult it is to start up a business. But it ain't easy. And you got to jump through a lot of hoops, and you got to put a heck of a lot of hours into it. Mrs. BJ can attest to that. And to have it taken away, not by anything that you didn't do or did do, but by fear generated by lifelong politicians, be they doctorate or not, is shameful to say the very least. How did this happen? What happened in America with our self-reliance? What happened with our ability to examine facts? What happened to our ability to get facts? We mentioned earlier on that the president is going to do something about social media, which he won't. He won't be able to do anything, whether well-intended or not. I hope it isn't that he's just saying this to appease voters. God, I hope not. But we'll know soon enough. We'll know soon enough. What hill, and the president has a lot of them to die on these days, what hill is he going to choose to die on? What hill are you going to choose to die on? Talked about commitment today. Are you committed? Or are you just interested? When you get out on that football field and you're playing against the opponent and the opponent's committed and you're just interested, what's going to happen? What's happening now? The enemy is committed, and apparently committed to destroying America. And if they're serving their father, Beelzebub, that's what he wants to do. We're supposedly a Christian nation. That would be a good one for Satan to destroy.
Well, before we go,
yeah,
can I get some optimism here?
Well,
Optimistic news?
I guess. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, just note, almost every white cop did not abuse a black person. Almost every American did not die from COVID-19. Almost every African American did not loot and set fire to Target and their local police precinct. Almost every employee who lost a job during Corona crisis did not abuse the unemployment system. Almost every church that held public worship did not spread the virus. It's a burden to combat the infectious pessimism of our media class, but somebody has to inject some optimism.
We appreciate that, Mr. Anderson. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the show today. BJ Edwards on Facebook. naturalfamilystrong.com. Sign our pledge. Look at our pledge. As goes the family, so goes the nation, folks. You'll see it in action today. Thanks again.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Last Call with BJ Edwards.